Another game night where I host and keep score, and you play them by commenting. We'll get started in about a minute or two. So very soon, let people come in. Just making sure we're all set up and good to go. All right. Some technical difficulties right off the bat, as per usual. That doesn't always go as planned. That's all right. All right, cool. I think we're good. We're live. Everything's working. Hey, Christina, welcome. Hey, Trinity. You won't be able to stay and watch. I'm so sorry. There's nothing to be sorry about. That's why we stream multiple times throughout the day, or at least I try to. Christina, welcome. Trinity, I hope your birthday went good. Yep, I try to accommodate a lot of schedules by streaming all different times. Is my name Shannon? Yes, Christina, my name is Shannon. I'm okay with sharing that information. I have to sell my book, and you know it's on my channels, certain places, so I don't mind. Yes, my name is. All right, we're gonna kick it off with Guess That Balloon. Have a good night. Be safe. Good luck, everyone. Awesome, Trinity. Have a good night. Correct spelling, yes. S-H-A-N-N-O-N. S-H-A-N-N-O-N. That is the correct spelling. We're going to kick it off with Guess That Balloon. First person to correctly guess the balloon that I'm making would a point on the scoreboard. Only 2 guesses per players. I'm going to do a different balloon. I did not pump that one up right. All right, first one to correctly guess what I'm making within 2 guesses would a point on the scoreboard. Gotta make sure that is in live chat. It is not a story. You're gonna like quick. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Next, all right. We have a 2-hour game show where I host and keep score. You play by commenting. First person to correctly guess within 2 guesses. We're going to point on the scoreboard. Camel would be correct. Camel would be correct. Hey, Dollar, welcome back. All right, Javier, welcome to the scoreboard. You're a returning former champion, so you're entered in as pink or red. Gotta find the marker. And we're going to play another round of Guess That Balloon. The first person to correctly guess what I am making will get a point on the scoreboard. It is a puppy. Each person has 2 guesses to correctly guess what I am making. 2 guesses to correctly guess what I am making, and you'll get a point on the scoreboard. First person to get it right. Two guesses per balloon. We started off. It is a balloon. We go a little bit more specific than that. We start the game show off with Guess That Balloon, and then we move on to some other games. Got a few games for tonight. Sword is correct. Sword is correct. All right, we have gray basketball. That is. Let me go ahead and add you to the scoreboard. Welcome to the scoreboard. I do have to make sure that I spell your name correctly for my records because I keep track of a lot of stuff. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and add you. Welcome to the live game show where I host and keep score. You play by commenting. Gray basketball. It looks like this is your very first time earning a point on this game show, which means congratulations. I will be entering your name into the Hall of Fame, where once you enter, you never leave. Once you earn 1 point on this game show, you get entered in the Hall of Fame, and your name never leaves. I believe you are the 100th and 135th person to earn a point on this game show. And whoever just subscribed, this firework is for you. You subbed. Awesome. That fireworks for you. Welcome. We play multiple different types of games, or we play mini games throughout the stream. These are 2-hour-long streams. I try to stream 6 days a week, multiple times a day. Dollar, are you in? I can check real quick. Dollar, I do believe you did make the Hall of Fame. Oh, Dollar, you are not in the Hall of Fame yet. You are not in. Unless, oh, you are. You're 108. I spelled it wrong. My apologies. I thought you were in. I've seen you so many times. Yes, you are in the Hall of Fame at number 108. We're going to move on to another round of Guess That Balloon. The first person to correctly guess what I am making within 2 guesses will get a point on the scoreboard. You guys are allowed 2 guesses. Don't waste them. Locked in. All right. Also, we have a Hall of Fame where you only have to earn 1 point to enter. Then we have the Hall of Champions. Whoever gets the most points by the end will enter the Hall of Champions. There's currently 31 people entered into the Hall of Champions. 1 person enters the Hall of Champions every single stream. Every single stream, 1 person enters the Hall of Champions. Former champions go on the board as red. And competitors go on the board as blue. Hey, Richard Green, welcome back. Welcome back, Richard Green. Richard Green, also a former champion. Not a flower. You guys only get 2 guesses. You guys only get 2 guesses. Don't waste them all in one spot. Did I get it? You did not. Did not get it. Supposed to be a... Oh, nobody has it. Yes, it was a shark. I forgot. It's dorsal fin. Usually this one helps when turn up the light sometimes on some of them. I forgot the little fin right there. My apologies. I thought I had more balloon than I needed. All right, who's the first person to say shark? Would be Javier. There's another point for Javier. Gray basketball, you're currently in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions since you're the only blue name currently up here. We're going to do one more round of Guess That Balloon, and then we're going to move on to the next game. One more round of Guess That Balloon. First person to correctly guess this balloon within, whew, 2 guesses. We'll get a points on the scoreboard. Yeah, no problem. I too try to stream every single day. I am going out of town this weekend. So I won't be streaming this weekend, but I'll be back to going 6 days a week after. First person to correctly guess what I have made will get a point on the scoreboard. Dog is correct. Great basketball, you get another point. I'll have you know, if you ever have to leave halfway through a stream, your points stay on the board until the end of the stream. And if somehow you leave and you have the most points on the board at the end of the stream, you still enter the Hall of Champions. That has happened before. Happened to the Wizard, who came in for the first hour, dominated so bad that when he left an hour later, he was still announced the champion. All right. We're going to move on to Tri-Bond. Tri-Bond is a fun one. Tri-Bond is where I give you guys 3 things. The first person to tell me, have a great one, Gray Basketball. Your name will be entered into the Hall of Fame. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The first person to tell me what love, fault, and let have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Love, fault, and let. First person to tell me what love, fault, and let have in common. Tennis would be correct. They are terms in tennis. That is a point for Richard Green. Richard Green, welcome back and welcome to the scoreboard as a former champion. Of course, you are entered in as red. Continuing on to another round of Tri-Bond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what bevel, file, and miter box have in common. First person to tell me what bevel, file, and miter box have in common. I'll get a point on the scoreboard. You guys are close. You guys are close. You guys are close. All right, give me 1 second. Tools was correct, but are they all types of saws? Because if they're all types of saws, I would just give it to you. Huh. You think I'd know with how often? Yeah, they are all types of saws. You think I know with the years I did carpentry on and off that I'd know the answer to that, and I didn't. My apologies. I'm going to give it to you, Richard, for saying saws. You're at 2. You don't think they're all saws? Are they? Yeah, I thought miter box was. Hold on, I'm going to check again. Miter box saw. I know what miter saw is. Oh, nope, the miter box is not a saw. Okay, never mind. I'm going to give it to Javier for saying tools. The miter saw is, the box itself is not. My apologies. There's a reason I don't do carpentry anymore. All right, my bad, guys. Moving on to another round of Tri-Bond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common, I'll get a point on the scoreboard. Oops. Cotton, wool, polyester. First person to tell me what cotton, wool, and polyester have in common, I'll get a point on the scoreboard. Fabrics is correct. There are types of fabrics. Moving on to another round of Tri-Bond. Tri-Bond. First person to tell me what these 3 things have in common, we'll get a point on the scoreboard. Snap and apple, wild strawberry, gonzo grape. I'll be a little lenient on this one. This one's a weird one. Flavors. They are flavors of Bubblicious bubblegum. I'm going to give it to Javier there. So I realized I realized that I don't know if bubblegum is sold across the world. Oh, wow. I would not get this one right. Moving on to another round of Tribe on. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common, I'll get a point on the scoreboard. Squeeze, bulk, lead. Could also be lead. Squeeze, bulk, lead, or lead. That's probably lead, actually, now that I think about it. First person to tell me what squeeze, bulk, and lead have in common. They're not shapes. This is a tricky one. I'll read it one more time and I'll put 15 seconds on the clock. The first person to tell me what squeeze, bulk, and lead have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. I'm putting a few more seconds on the clock. That one is a tricky one. I'm not a fan. Oh, right. There are terms in baseball. There are terms in baseball. Squeeze, bulk, and lead. Alright, this is going to be a fun one. Well, moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Never had a chance. Me neither. First person to tell me what water, helium, and hot air have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Water, helium, and hot air. Balloon is correct. That's a point for Richard Green. Yeah, 3 points. Moving on to another round of Tribon. That's U.S. specific. I'm going to skip that one. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Giraffes, guitars, bottles. Giraffes, guitars, bottles. Neck is correct. They all have a neck. Hey, David, welcome back. 1.4, Javier, you're at 5. David, welcome back. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. Paws, mitts, clutches. Paws, mitts, clutches. Give you guys a hint. These are slang terms for something. Paws, mitts, clutches. Mittens is very close without being close at all. Hands is correct. Hands, they are terms for hands. 6. Thought mittens was close because they go in the hands, but I didn't want to say it was too close because you guys start saying gloves or things like that. Well, it would not have been a good hint. What the? Ooh. The first person, yeah, that one was confusing. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The Mona Lisa, The Last Supper, The Virgin of the Rocks. Look at cars. Paintings would be correct. We're going to do a bonus point. Can anybody tell me who the painter was? We will do a bonus point. Can anybody tell me who the painter was for those? First person tell me who the painter was. For all three of them was the same painter. Yes, it was Da Vinci. That is a point for Richard. Richard, you're at 4. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me the first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what a soldier, a waitress, and a tennis player have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. A soldier, a waitress, a tennis player. Suite or suit? Nope. Uniform? Nope. Serve would be correct. A soldier, a waitress, and a tennis player. Serve is what they all serve. Welcome back, David, and welcome to the scoreboard. David, good to see you coming back. So many streams and playing the games. You're bound to get on that Hall of Champions. I will admit, every day it gets a little bit harder to get on the Hall of Champions. We have a lot of people who come back. That was a good answer. I agree. Ooh. David, you were close. You were close recently. One day you'll be able to stay for the whole stream. I'd be excited for that. We're gonna move on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common. I'll go to points on the scoreboard. The manatee, the jaguar, the black rhinoceros. The manatee, the jaguar, the black rhinoceros. We are looking for a more specific answer with this one. The manatee, the jaguar, the black rhinoceros. I also believe the white rhinoceros would fit into this category. Not sure if that hint helps. Endangered is close enough. Oh, that's exactly what it says. Endangered species. Yep. Almost extinct and endangered or similar. I was actually just looking that up the other day. David, that is a point for you. There's apparently many tiers to how close a species is to being extinct. And the last tier was extinct, and I thought that was funny. I'm like, well, yeah. Yes, it is. What is this? Ha! Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common. I'll get a point on the scoreboard. A compass, a porcupine, a cactus. First person to tell me what. A compass, a porcupine, and a cactus have in common. I'll get a point on the scoreboard. Needle is correct. They all have needles. That is a point for Javier. Hey, James M. Welcome back. Javier, you're at 8. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The first person to tell me what bomber, airliner, and paraglider have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Bomber, airliner, paraglider. Planes would be correct. Hey, Bronny, welcome back. Javier gets the point for planes. Bronny, I did notice after I stood up to end the last stream, and right before I ended the stream, I noticed you said my book. You bought my book, and it'll be in Saturday. I appreciate that, brother. So I added your name to the Hall of Support. There's now 3 people and 1 anonymous person because I never heard back from them. So I keep them anonymous because some people might not want their name up there. So until I hear back from her or him, it will stay anonymous. So thank you, Bronny. I hope you enjoy it. And you were added to the Hall of Support. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Awesome. Perfect, Bronny. Perfect. Oh, and also, I do realize... Oh, no, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Also, I do realize some of you guys are in other countries, and so I know I've said the price was $9.99 before, and it is if you're in the U.S., but if you're in another country, it'll automatically convert to your local currency, so the price will be different depending on the country that you're in. It'll be converted. So, awesome. Thank you, Richard. Like for you, Richard, it would be different. Awesome. I don't know if it's set up, so you might be following a different Shannon Miller's page. If it's the one with cat books, that's not me. I have to. It's a weird one. I still have to figure that. I gotta work on that in the next few days. But we're gonna move on to another round of Tribon because I do have more books that are gonna be coming out. We are gonna be moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. I'm glad you bought the paperback. That's the one I recommend the most. First person to tell me what mules, Clodhoppers and loafers have in common. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. Mules, clodhoppers, and loafers. I would have never gotten this one in a million years. Shoes is correct. That is a point for James M. James M, welcome to the scoreboard. James M. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. What the heck? First person to tell me what conch, cowrie, and whelk have in common. Conch, and then it's C-O, shell is correct. I have no clue how to pronounce that. First person to say shell on my screen was Javier. Javier, you're at 10. Wow. I had no clue how to pronounce that. First person to tell me what these three things have in common, I'm going to point on the scoreboard. We have camel's hair, mohair, bearskin. I do not see the correct answer. The first person to tell me what camel's hair, mohair, and bearskin. I think as far as the answer goes, bearskin is more commonly seen. Bearskin would be more commonly seen. The other two are, I've never seen this made out of the other two, but rug would be correct. Apparently there are types of rugs. Camel's hair, mohair, and bearskin would be types of rugs. First person to say rug would be Javier. Does it look like Baronator just popped in? Hey, Baronator, you're finally back. You gotta get up early, so you might just watch tonight. No problem. Got 2 streams tomorrow. At least 2 streams tomorrow. And continuing on to another round of Tribond, the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Oops, where did that card? The first person to tell me what dungarees, knickers, and bloomers have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. I'm not rich enough for a rug, bro. You like this game? I'm really liking Tribond too. Tribond's really fun. What was the answer? Yes, pants is correct. Terms for pants. Ronnie, that's a point for you. I'm glad you guys like this game because I also like this one. Ronnie, I'm going back. I'm just double checking. Just double checking. Is that your first point? It was. Okay. Ronnie, welcome to the scoreboard. Guys, sometimes it's hard for me to remember if you're already on the scoreboard, so I just do a quick check. Especially when I rapid fire these streams back to back. Sometimes I get a little confused. Ronnie, welcome to the scoreboard. Former champion. And moving on to another round. Yes, I am lenient on typos as long as you're close enough. First person to tell me what these 3 things have in common, I'll get a point on the scoreboard. We have blue, humpback, and killer. Whale would be correct. That is another point for Javier. Javier, you're at 12. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common, I'll get a point on the scoreboard. A drum, a cymbal, a triangle. Yeah, Bronny. Bronny, we have you, Mike Tones, and Javier currently in all 3 halls. You, Mike Tones, and Javier are in all 3 halls. Instruments would be correct. That is a point for James M. Where are you, James? Right there. I forgot to give you your first point, so I'm giving you 2 right there. Continuing on, we have another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common gets a point on the scoreboard. This is going to be interesting. Short circuit, The Terminator, Star Wars. I've never personally heard of Short Circuit. Short Circuit, The Terminator, Star Wars, but I am not a fan of movies. Yes, they are movies. What is the common denominator amongst these movies? These movies all feature something in them. Terminator, Star Wars, Short Circuit. Robots is correct. Movies featuring robots. That'd be Richard Green. We'll get the point. Richard, you're at 5. Continuing on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Flash, night, and sun. Flash, night, and sun. Light would be correct. Flashlight, night light, sunlight. First person to say light would be Javier. Javier, you're at 13. Moving on to another round of Tribon. We'll finish this card and move on to another game. First person to tell me what Bobby, bowling, and safety have in common. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. Bobby, bowling, safety. Pin is correct. There's a point for Javier. You're at 14. Got a few more on this card. First person to tell me what these 3 things have in common, I'll get a point on the scoreboard. We have roller, ice, hockey. We have roller, ice, hockey. Skates would be correct. That is a point for James M. Oh. James M., you officially have 3 points. You are now in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions. All right, we're going to skip that. U.S. specific. We are going to move on to blurt. Blurt is a fan favorite where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition, the daughter of a king or queen. The second definition, a small shallow pond of liquid. Princess is correct. That is a point for Javier. 15. Puddle is correct. That is a point for Javier. Again, 16. Moving on to another round of blurt where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition, a hard lump of gold before it is refined. The second definition, a large dog with drooping ears, a wrinkled face, and a keen sense of smell. Nugget would be correct. That is a point for Dovid. Hey, Robert Hunley, welcome back. Welcome back. Dovid, you're now tied with James M. for entering the Hall of Champions. Bloodhound is correct. Who was the first person to say hound or bloodhound? Would be Bronny. I'll give it to you for hound. Bronny, you're at 2. Continuing on to another round of blurt where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition, a colorful show put on by clowns, acrobats, and trained animals. The second definition, a building for religious worship. Circus is correct. That is another point for Bronny. You're at 3. Church is correct. Who said it first? Baronator. There's a point for Baronator. Baronator, welcome to the scoreboard. As a returning champion, you are entered in as red. Moving on to another round of blurt where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition, a band or chain worn around the wrist as an ornament. The second definition, one of the pointed ends of a fork or other tools. Bracelet is correct. One of the pointed ends of a fork or other tool. Bracket's pretty close to bracelet, so I'm going to give it to you there, Baronator. Oh, I got to make sure those your 2 points are spread out. That was almost too close. All right. Prong is correct. Who's the first person to say prong on my screen? That would be Richard Green. You're at 6, Bronny. Baronator, you're at 2. Ronnie, you're at 3. Richard Green, you're at 6. Javier, you're at 16. Amongst everybody else competing to enter the Hall of Champions would be Gray Basketball, who had to leave. He's at 2. Dovid, 3. James M, 3. You two are tied for entering. Moving on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: water that falls from the clouds to the earth in drops. The second definition: to steer or operate a car or other vehicle. Rain would be correct. That is a point for Bronny. You're at 4 points. Drive would be correct. That is a point for Javier. You're at 17 points. Moving on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: a long, thin pole with a flat blade at one end, used in pairs to row boats. The second definition: a small, round cake made of sweetened dough, fried in deep fat. Or would be correct. That is a point for Javier. And donut would be correct. That is a point for Bronny. Bronny, you're at 5. All right, we're going to switch up the game a little bit. We're going to switch up the game. We have about 18 minutes before we go on our halftime break. We're going to switch up the game, and we're going to play Taboo. The first person to correctly guess the word that I am describing, we'll get a point on the scoreboard. They're always going to be one word, unless I'll tell you. Actually, I'm just going to tell you. It is one word. The person to correctly guess this single word will get a point on the scoreboard. You have to use this when you get out of the shower because you're pretty wet, and this will make it dry. You'll commonly find them in bathrooms, although people bring them to the beach as well. Towel would be correct. That is a point for Bronny. Another word of taboo. By the way, this is a very, very different way to play it on stream than you would in person. If anybody's interested in buying any of the games you see on the show, there are affiliate links down below. That is another way to support the channel. Moving on. Ooh, this is a fun word. We're going to play another round of taboo. The first person to tell me the word I'm describing will get a point on this scoreboard. This is actually a deformity on the face, and typically when people have them, they're not even. This happens, you see them more when people smile. They're around the cheek. They are, dimple is correct. Dimple. First person who's on my screen who said dimple was Javier. Fun fact, when somebody has dimples, they're normally not matching. Moving on to another round. Yeah, they're technically deformities. Yep, they are technically. I was told that once. They're technically deformities, and that's because they're deformities. That's why they're not even. I have dimples, and they're actually not even. Yeah. So it's a fun little one. Yeah. I know weird facts about the body. Although I'm not a medical person, don't take my medical advice at all for anything ever. Moving on. Yeah, muscle deformity. Okay. Yeah. Moving on to another round of taboo. I do see how that could be misleading, though. That was my favorite fun fact about dimples, though. Moving on to another round of taboo. The first person to correctly guess this word, a single word, will get a point on the scoreboard. People who ride horses in a race are called this. They sit on the saddle and go around the track. Jockey is correct. I'll give it to Bronny for jock. That was close enough. Bronny, you're at 7 points. However, that was too close to the first point, so I need 2. Let's get that one. Moving on to another round of taboo. The first person to tell me what this word is will get a point on the scoreboard. I believe this is a fish, and many people hate this on pizza. Many people think that if you put one of these in the middle of a pizza, you'll ruin the whole pizza. I heard that as a kid, and so did other people. I don't know if it's true. You can just pick it right off. It's a fish that's really salty with a strong odor. Anchovy would be correct. That is a point for Brawny. I haven't tried it, though, so I guess I'll have to go out and try it. Moving on to another round of taboo. The first person to tell me... I can't even pronounce that word, so we're going to skip that. First person to tell me what this word is will get a point on the scoreboard. This is another word for exam. This is another word for quiz. You often have to take this at schools or to pass something. If you're to get your driver's license, you have to take a blank. What is this one word? Test to be correct. That is a point for Richard. Moving on to another round of taboo. The first person to correctly guess this one word will get a point on the scoreboard. Many people have to buy dresses for this event. This is an event that happens oftentimes for seniors leaving high school. This is a formal event. Prom would be correct. And that is a point for Javier. You're at 20. Moving on to another round of taboo. The first person to correctly guess this will get a point on the scoreboard. If it's really hot outside, you're going to find a tree and sit in it for blank. Sunglasses also provide blank for your eyes. Shade would be correct. That is another point for Javier at 21 points. Continuing on to another round of taboo. Skip that one. Weird hints. Moving on. Wow, you guys all said shade pretty close. Moving on to another round of taboo. First person who corrects, guess this. Excuse me. One word will get a point on the scoreboard. There's many different names for this, although they're kind of all referred to as... Every town has many of these. And at the end... That was close. Street was correct. That is a point for Brawny. I don't know how to describe that without giving it away. Brawny, you're at 9. You got that one. You got that one fast. That was good. We're gonna move on to another round of taboo. The first person to tell me what I am. The first person to tell me this one word. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. Yeah, that was good. That was good thinking. Many people are actually allergic to this, and it's many people around the world have an allergy to this, although most people can actually get over the allergy just by consuming a lot of this. However, until you get over the allergy, it'll rumble in your stomach, and I believe even give you diarrhea. This is one of the few allergies. Well, it's not quite an allergy, but it's milk is correct. Milk is correct. Many people have an intolerance to it, and you can get over the intolerance by just not everybody. Don't take this medical advice. Please don't eat pollen. Javier said milk. Yeah, don't take this medical advice. Some of you might actually just straight up be allergic to it. Lactose intolerant is correct. I didn't want to say it though because I thought it'd be too obvious. But yeah, if you're allergic to it, don't take my advice. I'd like you to come back to the game alive. I'm not a medical professional. I actually have it if I go a couple months without it. I get sick as a dog when I drink anything dairy, but then after a couple weeks of it, my body readjusts to it. And my cheese is my favorite food, so I always have to readjust. Moving on to another round of taboo. The first person. Wow, that's a long time. I couldn't go without chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk. Moving on to another round of taboo. The first person to correctly guess this one word. We'll get a points on the scoreboard. We're going to do almost a little bit of charades here for a second. We're going to do a little bit of charades. Do a little bit of charades here with this one. Chopsticks is correct. There's a point for Baronator. I've been debating adding charades on here. I just don't know how good my mime acting skills would be. I actually didn't read it. I did charades where I just acted it out for that one. I tested it out. I wanted to test it out. I won't do that again, though. I'd like to just make it more obvious when I'm testing something out. We're going to move on to another round of Taboo. The first person to correctly guess this one word will get a point on the scoreboard. More often or not, caught us on that one. Yeah, more often than not, a man will have this and a woman won't. However, there are some women who have this. Some women who have this. Beard is correct. Beard is correct. That's a point for Javier. Mustache would have been close. Moving on to, oh man, another round of Taboo. The first person to correctly guess this word will get a point on the scoreboard. This is a something that's rather big that you can use. This is rather big that you can use for, it's a type of way you could cook. It's how you would bake something, like how to bake a cake or cookies. It's a big appliance, usually, but not always, run off of gas. Oven would be correct. That's a point for Bronny. Bronny, you're at 10 points. Moving on to another, actually, we're going to switch it up to Blurt. We're going to switch it up. Got him. Moving on to, man, guys, I really like the community that we're building here. Everybody's having a good time. We're all just hanging out, learning, having fun. It's really fun. Thank you, guys. Moving on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the score, but up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first one, no, really, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition gets a point. Up to 2 points can be handed out. The first definition, hair cut straight across the forehead. The second definition, the fourth Thursday in November, observed as a legal holiday in the United States. Bangs would be correct. That's a point for Javier. Hey, Meg, welcome back. A now former champion on the board. Welcome back, Meg. Good to see you again. Javier, you're at 24 points. Thanksgiving is correct. I do apologize that it is a United States specific thing. I do try my hardest not to do that. I don't always read the word before the definition. Javier, that's another point for you. Oh, wow. I'm wondering if the alcohol in these markers is leaving a residue on the board, because sometimes I draw on the board and just erases it. So I'm wondering if I have to wipe down the board now between, like, with a cloth or something. I might have to try that. Moving on to another round of Blurt. Yes, glad to have you. Good to have you. Moving on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition. A heavy block of iron or steel with a smooth, flat top on which metals are hammered and shaped. The second definition. A poisonous snake of Asia or Africa that can spread out the skin of its neck to form a flattened hood. Anvil is correct. You notice they do that on whiteboards that have been used a lot. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's leaving like a residue. Cobra is correct. I'm wondering if it's leaving a residue. I might have to try to dry wipe it in between streams. Bronny gets both points. Moving on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for the definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition. Hot melted rock that flows from a volcano. The second definition. An area of low land between mountains or hills. Lava would be correct. That is another point for Bronny. Valley would be correct. That is a point for Javier. That's good to know, Javier. If you remember that happening, then I'm going to definitely try that out. Oh, man. Moving on to another round of Blurt, and then we're going to switch up the game a little bit. We have about 5 minutes before a halftime break. Blurt is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: a slightly bitter, stimulating substance found in coffee, tea, and some soft drinks. The second definition: a device used to move a liquid or gas from one place to another. Caffeine is correct. That is a point for Javier. Oh. Make that point a little bit thicker so I can see it later. And pump is correct. We got to go back and see who the first person to say it was. That'd be Richard Green. Moving on to another game now. We're moving on to another game now. We're going to play Tribond. Yeah, we're going to play a few rounds of Tribond and then go on our halftime break. I know it's a tough one out there tonight. It's pretty close. Moving on to Tribond, where I give you guys 3 things. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The first person to tell me what locks, tresses, and curls have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Locks, tresses, curls. Hair would be correct. They are terms for hair. That is a point for Bronny. Bronny, you're at 14. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common. I'm a barber, so that's like cheating. Hey, that's life experience. That's good. That's good. That's good. Everybody has different life experiences that come in handy in different ones of these games, so I like it. That makes sense that you had that. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have silk, nylon, burlap. First person to tell me what? Silk, nylon, and burlap. Yeah, that's fair. Javier. Fabric is correct. They are types of fabrics. That is a point for Bronny. Yeah. Bronny, you're at 15. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Lobsters, monkeys, kites. Lobsters, monkeys, kites. I do not see it. The first person to tell me what lobsters, monkeys, and kites. That's fair. Haha! Tails is correct, Richard. You got it. They have tails, is what is on here. Lobsters, monkeys, and kites have tails. That is a point for Richard Green. Good job. That was a good one. That was a tricky one. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have gloss, semi-gloss, and flat. It does. A lot of them make sense once you hear them, yeah. Gloss, semi-gloss, and flat. Paint would be correct. I'm going to give the point to Meg. Meg, welcome to the scoreboard. Unless, is finish right? Yeah, dude, I was like, I'm going to give the point to Meg. Meg, welcome to the scoreboard as a returning champion. Yeah, I was like, is he right or wrong? I don't know. It was paint. Paint was the answer. I'm going to give the point to Meg, who's a returning champion. Who do we have? We have Just for Fun Fishing Mom. Welcome. You are late by almost half, but that is okay. There's no late. There's come in whenever you want and have fun and continue on. Continuing on to another. Wait, does the point go to Javier on the finish? I don't know, dude. You'd think I'd know. I had a painting company. You'd think I'd know that, but I don't. I knew how to paint. I didn't know any of the technicalities and stuff, unfortunately. Okay, cool. Moving on to another round. We're going to do one more round of Tribond, and then we're going to go on our halftime break. One more round of Tribond, then our halftime 5-minute break. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common, we're going to point on the scoreboard. What the heck? We have the bellhop, the room service, the pool. You come for fun. Awesome, just for fun fishing, Mom. We are here for... Well, I'm going to give the point to Brawny. Man, that was quite the typo, Brawny, but I could get where you're going with that. H is close to J. R is close to T, and you got the L right. Brawny, you're going to get that point. For hotel or Joro. Joro is close enough, weirdly enough. FFF, fair, fun, and friendly, and I am lenient with typos, so you got it. All right, guys, that is officially, we've got about an hour left until the end of the game, so we are going to go ahead and start the halftime break. I think I can do a brief explanation because we all regulars here. When you hear the sound of the gong, the 5 minutes starts. When you hear the sound of the air horn, the 5 minutes is over. I do keep a stopwatch on me so I can keep track of the time out of respect for everyone else's time. Begins. Hey, it's Shannon. I host the games and keep score while you play them by commenting. If you would like to support the channel and enter the Hall of Supporters, my Cash App is Shannon1742. My PayPal and Venmo are mindfuldiscovery@yahoo.com. These should be pinned in the comments. If you are interested in any of the games played on this show or the props used, I have affiliate links in the description. I earn a commission for each product bought at no extra cost to you. Another way you could show support is by purchasing my book, Beyond Solitaire, 52 Unique One-Player Games. This is a book on learning the rules for 52 solitaire-type card games with various levels of difficulties, chance, and skill. I wrote detailed instructions for new and experienced players to be able to learn these games, along with setup pictures for examples. Beyond Solitaire, 52 Unique One-Player Games is available on Amazon as a paperback book and on the Kindle store. It is also enrolled in the Kindle Unlimited program. We have a minute left in the break. Who will enter the Hall of Champions tonight? The 3 key principles for this game show. We want to be fair, we want to have fun, and we want to be friendly. I personally want to thank this community and everyone in the Hall of Fame for helping develop this positive game show experience. Continuing on, we always do come back from the break and do some balloon art. Hey, Evan, welcome. Welcome back, Evan. Hey, guys, I really appreciate your comments. I do. Really appreciate the community that we're building here. I am nothing without the players, nothing without you guys. So I really appreciate you guys coming here, keeping it fair, fun, and friendly. Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you guys more than you know. I really do. Thank you. All right, we are going to move it. Yeah, we've had a couple trolls, but you know what we do with trolls. Moving on to Guess That Balloon. Everybody gets 2 guesses per balloon. 2 guesses per balloon. The first person to correctly guess what I'm making will get a point on the scoreboard. I will be out of town this weekend. Yeah, I reckon I'll come once the channel gets a lot bigger too. That's okay. It's always an easy one, small. I'm going to be out of town this weekend. Be learning a lot more balloons, hanging out with family and stuff. That is a point for Hart was correct. That is a point for Javier. You are at 28 points. We're going to do another round of Guess That Balloon. I do have to owe you guys learning a lot more balloons. It has been a few days since I've learned some new ones. I'm busy adding a lot of games to this show. I have a few stacked up ready to come next week. Yeah, you guys can. Heck, you guys started a show, I'd probably come and play. There will be, yeah, I think it was maybe it was, somebody said, I thought maybe it was Richard. Somebody said the other day that this was going to be trend setting. I can't remember who said it, but I could see that if this gets big, I could see a lot of other people doing it, and that's okay. That's okay. They'll come, they'll do it in their own unique way, and it'll be cool. And whatever brings the world together to play games, that's awesome. If this starts a trend where a lot of people are doing this, that is awesome. First person to correctly guess what I am making, we're going to point on the scoreboard. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, my God. We are only a few weeks in. I think I've officially hit 3 weeks of doing this today. 3 weeks of doing this. I've got a lot of stuff to add. B is correct. That is a point for Richard. Got a lot of stuff to add. I'm continuously working on this. When I'm not actually streaming, I am just working on this stream. There's so many things that go into it behind the scenes. Well, we're going to do one more. And then we're going to move on. One more, and then we're going to move on. Oh, Bronny, you said that. Okay. get a point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, while the stream and the channel is small, it's going to be easier now to get in the Hall of Champions, but eventually it's going to be very hard, and it's going to be probably have to do some overtime. I do my research for sure. Thank you, James. I have been making games on and off for 7 years, and I do love to play games. And it is what I want to do for the rest of my life, is to make games. My bad. I love to play them. I love to make them. I want to make games and write books. That is truly what I want my life to be, is to make games and write books. Guys, I forgot I was making for a second. My bad. Nothing makes me happier than making games and writing books. This was a fast one. This is one of the fastest ones I can make. A sword is correct. First person on my screen who said sword would be David. You know, I honestly, Javier and I thought it wouldn't have been possible for the high score to be beaten when it was in the 40s. Now it's at 82. So, yeah, it's going to get harder and harder. By the way, David, it looks like you just overtook first place. You have James right behind you with 3. David, you're at 4. Remember, it is not announced until about 54 minutes from now. All right, now we're going to move on. What do you guys want to play? Do you guys want to play Blurt? Do you guys want to play Tribond? Do you want to play Taboo? Password? Family Feud? What do you guys want to play? Mike says he quit once Javier beat his score. I hope he didn't quit playing. I hope he just quit going for it. Password's a fun one. Family Feud. Battleship. All right. How about this? No, he quit that stream. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. All right. I see. We're gonna do Password, and then we're gonna do some Taboo, and then we'll do some then we'll do some Family Feud, and then we'll do some Battleship. Do a few of each, and then one Battleship. Battleship can be fun. All right, we're gonna move on. We'll play a few rounds of Password. I haven't done Battleship in so long. I kind of forgot to set it. My apologies. We're going to move on, and we're going to play some Password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password without any typos. This is the most strict game on the channel. First person to correctly guess my one-word password will get a point on the scoreboard. Okay. First person to correctly guess my one-word password based off of the clues and blank that I give. This is a tricky one because I normally say based off the clues and blank that I give. However, the password is hints is correct. Hints is correct. That is a point for Javier. That was tricky. We'll play a couple more rounds of Password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password based off the clues and the hints will get a point on the scoreboard. This is what if you put a lot of water in dirt and you step on it, you get your shoes really blank. Muddy is correct. That is a point for Meg. Oh, David said he didn't get it first. Give me a second. I will check. Give me 1 second. I have to give the point out to Muddy for Meg. Give me 1 second. All right, David said you did not get it first. Which one were you talking about, David? Was it sword? Because if it was sword, you definitely got sword first on my screen. And then Javier got hints first. Yeah, I gave that I gave that point to oh wait, did I? Yeah, Javier, I saw that Javier got hints. David, I think you got the point for sword, and that's what put you ahead of James, if that's what you... Yeah, you didn't get it first. No, on my screen, Javier got hints first. David, you got sword first 2 games back, and then Javier got hints first. Did I give you the point on hints? Or... Yeah, I know sometimes it's going to be confusing because the games are so rapid. Did I get muddy? Ah, you did not, Evan. Meg got muddy before you. No, perfect. Yes, Javier did get the point. All right, we're going to continue on to another round. Yeah, Evan Lane. Meg got muddy first on my screen. Moving on to another round of password. The first person to correctly tell me what my one-word password is without typos, capitalization does not matter. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. Police use this. It's a pretty painful stick to get hit with. Baton would be correct. That's a point for Meg. That's a point for Meg. Oh, you guys all have a bunch of right answers. Meg would be the first person to spell it right. Moving on to another round of password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password will get a point on the scoreboard. Typos are not allowed in this game. This is the meat of a pig's butt. It's usually cut in thin slices. It's very good, high in cholesterol. Thin slices, a staple of many things. Bacon would be correct. Hey, Miss Moonlight, welcome back. Who's the first person to say bacon? That would be Javier. Javier, you're at 30 points. Miss Moonlight, welcome back to the show. All right, we played a few password. We are going to move on. We're going to move on. As per requested, I did line up the games, how you guys wanted to play them, how I read them. So, password, we did a few rounds of password. I would like to make sure we have time for all of them. Now we're going to move on and we're going to play a few taboo. We're going to play a few taboo. All right, the first person to guess this single word, typos are okay. First person to guess this single word, based off of my hints, will get a point on this scoreboard. Some people will burn the tips of their fingers so they don't leave these. These can be an incriminating amount of evidence left behind at a crime scene that is very hard to notice unless you're a detective. Prince is correct. Fingerprints is correct, but I'll give it to Prince. That's point for Ronnie. Ronnie, you're at 17 points. Moving on to another round of taboo. The first person to tell me what this word is will get a point on the scoreboard. It's a hyphenated word, although if you have an unhyphenated, that's fine. This is a way you can get a six-pack by doing this common calisthenic. This is a common calisthenic that you can just do. It's a body weight. You don't use any weights. Sit-up would be correct. That is a point for Paki Rahu. Hey, Paki Rahu, welcome back. Welcome back, Paki Rahu, and welcome to the scoreboard. Paki Rahu. There we go. Good to see you back. Go ahead and give you your point. And we're going to continue on. We'll play a few more taboo, and then we're going to move on. Play a few more taboo, and then we're going to move on. Bacon comes from the belly, not the butt. Does it really? No problem. Welcome back, Miss Moonlight. Google where bacon comes from. All right. All right, guys, it says bacon does come from Walmart. That is final. Moving on. I'm kidding. It says the belly, back, or sides of a pig or anywhere on the pig with a high fat content. Wow, this comes off from all over, huh? That's interesting. What's that? Pig's belly, back, or sides. Okay. Yeah, right. Hey, Stephen Cameron, welcome back. Welcome back. That was a good one. All right. Sorry that my I don't know everything. My bad if my hints were not the best. My bad if my hints were not the best. We're going to move on. We're going to go ahead and move on to Family Feud. Family Feud. Scores are off the screen, and it's hard to see. Sorry about that, Dovid. Guys, I was making a lot of improvements to the show, but I'm also in the process of moving. I'm hoping to be out of here in a few weeks, or 3 to 6 weeks. I should be moved out of my current situation. So the setup is likely to drastically change. So I do have to be careful how I spend my time, but most of my time is still going on to this. Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to Family Feud. Ooh. We're going to move on to Family Feud. We're up to 6 points, can be handed out to the players. I'm going to have you guys name something. You're allowed to name as many as you want in this category. 1 guess per comment, as many comments as you would like. Name a disadvantage of owning a pet. Name a disadvantage of owning a pet. As many guesses as you would like. 1 guess per comment. Kuwapia, welcome to the live game show where I host and keep score, and you play by commenting. I'm closing the polls right there when you hear the X. I only accept the comments above when I said done. 1 point will be given out to the first person to say the answer. Any of these answers up to 6 points can be given out this round. All right, we have Brawny with crap. Cleaning up is on here. We're going to go ahead and give you that to you for cleaning up. Brawny, you're at 18. We have Messy. I gave that for cleaning up. Poop, also going to walking it. Walking it is on here. That's a point for Richard. Remember, we are lenient with the answers. Closest one to the answer. Vacation. Less freedom is on here. I'll give that point to Javier. We have cleaning. I gave the point to cleaning up. Smell is on here. That's a point for James M. James, you're tied with Dovid. Mess, cleaning up is on there. Guess there's only 2 left that I haven't given out. Oh, wait, there's 3. Shedding was already given out to cleaning up. Close enough. Noise, vet. Food should be on here, but it's not. Moving. Yep. Oh, wait. Food is on here. Feeding it is on here. That's a point for Dovid. My apologies. I missed that. Dovid, you're at 5. Feeding it is on here. Now we have less freedom and grooming it. All right. That'll be it. We're going to play one more. Actually, it's hard to do the 2 in a row sometimes because I think all the comments will make it lag a little bit, so we're going to be careful. All right. We're going to play a round of Tribond, and then we're going to play a few rounds of Tribond, however many will be appropriate from this card, and then we'll move on to Battleship. Tribond is the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. The first person to tell me what ice, sour, and whipped have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Got bad winds at the moment. Answers are delayed. I'm sorry, guys. Cream is correct. First person on my screen to say cream would be Brawny. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what paper clips, rubber bands, and envelopes have in common. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. Office is correct there. Office supplies, that is a point for Brawny. There it is. You're at 20. All right, moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what a fang, a tusk, and a molar have in common. We'll go to points on the scoreboard. A fang, a tusk, a molar. Teeth is correct. That is one for Richard Green. There are types of teeth. You guys had a lot of... Yo, Default, welcome back, welcome back. All right, we're going to move on to Battleship. Please do not start giving your guesses until you hear the ding, ding, ding. How a Battleship works is I have tusk is a tooth. Oh, the card said. I don't think it's a tooth. Wait a minute. I didn't write this game. Yes, a tusk is a type of tooth. Ivory tusks are actually massive teeth. Wow, I was thinking... Oh, yeah, because the animal's tusks, or elephant's tusks. I was thinking of like a boar's tusk. But oh, yeah, because they do come from the mouth, don't they? That's a weird one. Yeah, I forgot about the elephants. Fun fact, boars' tusks, and wild boars slowly kill themselves because the tusks, they curl up into their head, and since nobody cuts it for them, it slowly punctures their head until they die. So it's kind of crazy. That's what happens to wild boars. All right, we're gonna move on to Battleship. How Battleship works is I have a bunch of ships hidden on my Battleship board. You guys have to guess where my ships are. The first person to correctly hit that part of the... Life sucks sometimes. First person to hit that part of the ship will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 30 points can be handed out. I'm going to accept a lot of answers this time. These ships are hidden on a 10 by 10 grid. The rows are lettered A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. The columns are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You must pair a letter with a number to indicate where on the grid you think I hid my ships. For example, you could say A1 or J10. Begin. And we're going to call it done right there. I'm only accepting the answers above when I said done. There we peg. Try to hide it so I know you can see the board. We'll show the board at the end. Oh. Alright, we have F1, miss, C4, miss, E6, miss, A5, miss, B5. That is our first hit of Battleship. That is a point for Javier. I will read the scores after this. C5, miss, E6, miss, A5, miss, A2, miss, D5, miss, A6, miss, B5, hit, but it was already a hit, J8, miss, E5, that is a hit. What was that for? Javier. C5, miss, A6, miss, F5, miss, G6, miss, B4. That is a hit. That is a point for James. D5, miss, G5, miss, E5. Hit, but it was already a hit. H3. H3 is a hit. That is a point for Richard Green. H5. Hit. That is a point for Javier. C8, miss. F5, miss. I5, miss. G5, miss. C2, miss. I7, miss. G8, miss. H5, hit, but it was already a hit. J5, hit. That is a point for Javier. B2, miss. A1, miss. I5, miss. G9, miss. A1, miss. E8, miss. E9, miss. J10, last one, miss. Hey, just for fun fishing, welcome back. So you're playing start typing answers. Ah, that's funny. That's funny. Welcome back. Welcome back. Mike still holding top score of all time. No, it was recently beat by Javier. Goat, man. It is now at 82. 82. Did your J6 make it? It did not, Brawny. Nope. I said done, then Richard said F10, then you said J6, then David said I5. Oof. Hey, just for fun fishing. Glad you guys love the show. Glad you guys are liking the show. All right. We're going to play Tribond. Tribond is where I give you guys 3 things. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The first person to tell me what North America, Europe, and South America have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. North America, South America, and Europe. Continents would be correct. That is a point for Brawny. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot I said it would read scores. Amongst the champions, Javier has 35. Richard Green has 13. Brawny has 21. Baronator 3. Meg 3. Amongst everyone else competing to enter the championship. Looks like Gray Basketball has 2. Paki Rahu has 1. Dovid and James M are tied with 5. We have about 26 minutes until the winner is announced between James M and Dovid, who have been coming here many streams, and they're both tied right now. This is getting good. What the heck? We're gonna see if anybody can get this one. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. A raisin, a great-grandparent, and an elephant. Who can tell me what a raisin, a great-grandparent, and an elephant has in common? Wrinkly is correct. Oh, my God, you guys had it. Oh, wow, you all had it. Oh, wow, all right, old. That's funny. Dovid with Wrinkly. Dovid, you currently are in first place, but it's not over till it's over. I cannot believe you guys got Wrinklies. Wow, you all are just like, obviously, it's wrinkles. And just for fun fish, it just says old. All right, we're going to continue on. Easy. Yeah, I guess so, huh? Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have cherry, key lime, lemon, marengo. Seems like the goat. Pie is correct. That would be a point for Ronnie. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We're going to try it. The first person to tell me what house, horse, and dragon have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The first person to tell me what house, horse, and dragon. Oh, I could not pronounce it. It's just funny. House, horse, dragon. Fly would be correct. They are flies. Flies. I will admit, on the back of the card, it does say flies. However, a dragonfly is an insect, but not really a fly. So I was kind of conflicted on doing that one, but I'm still going to give the point out. David, you got the point. I know, I didn't really like that one because of what it said on the back, but I figured I'd try it. What the heck? All right, we're going to try this one too. Dragonfly, horsefly, housefly. Well, I guess they have fly in the name, so I don't know. Yeah, so I guess it still counts pretty good. Yeah. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have Santa Claus, Rip Van Winkle, a billy goat. Santa Claus, Rip Van Winkle, a billy goat. No, I do not know who Rip Van Winkle is. I just hope Beards is correct. Just for fun fishing, welcome to the scoreboard. As a former champion, of course, you will be entering as pink. Your point, and we will continue on. This is the last show of the night. We should have about 2 tomorrow. And then I'll be taking a few days off because I will be out of town. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to correctly guess what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have... We're going to skip that one. First person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have Montreal, Calgary, Quebec. That's all you wanted to get on the board. Fair enough. We have Montreal, Calgary, Quebec. They are in Canada. There are cities in Canada. That is a point for Meg. First person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We are playing Tribond. First person to tell me what these three things have in common. We have a pediatrician, a podiatrician, and a psychiatrist. Hey, the official beekeeper, welcome back. Welcome back, the official beekeeper. Doctors is correct. They are types of doctors. Meg, that is a point for you. Hey, guys, I just want to make a quick announcement. If you guys want to play any of the games on this show, I do have affiliate links in the description for all of the games and props you see on the show. If you guys make a purchase at no extra cost to you, it does give me a little bit of commission. It does help support the channel. I know there's been a few people asking about that, and I did finally get that in, so thank you guys very much. Moving on to another round of Tribon where I give the three things, and the first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Oh, crap. First person to tell me what solus or soleus, quadriceps, and pectorals have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Muscles would be correct. There are types of muscles. That's a point for you, Meg. Moving on to... That's okay, the official beekeeper. I don't know much either. It's okay, just for fun. I would have given it to you for that, but Meg was right above you. You don't need to know much, but if you come here, you will learn something. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have about 19 and a half minutes. The first person to tell me what wind, whales, and noses have in common. You will learn a lot, no lie. Awesome. I'm glad you guys like it. I'm really glad you guys like it. First person to tell me what wind, whales, and noses. More specifically, blow would be correct. That is a point for James M. First person to tell me what these three things have in common will get points on the scoreboard. Pause. Don't mean to pause. Oh. Continuing on. The first person to tell me what sing, pray, get married has in common. Sing, pray, get married. Church would be correct. That is a point for Bronny Lee. Where are you, Bronny? You're at 23. Oh, Dovin and James, you guys are both tied. Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. Sorry. Dovin's at 7. James is at 6. I should really make sure that slash is all the way through so I can read it better. My apologies. Dovin, you're at 7. James, you're at 6. My apologies. All right. Continuing on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have Scoot, Luge, Toboggan. Scoot, Luge, Toboggan. Nobody's dumb, official beekeeper, but if you're here, you'll learn. Stop saying you guys are dumb. They are types of sled. That'd be correct, Meg. You guys are here, willing to have fun. You're going to learn. Also, it's not good for your own mental health to tell yourself that you're dumb. It's not good. Trust me. Placebo effect is so strong that the beliefs you have about yourself can become true, whether true or not. Your mind is so strong that you can make self-beliefs true. So, don't tell yourself that. Moving on to another round of Tribon, where we'll read three things. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Hungary, Turkey, Chile. Is that Hungary? Hungary, Turkey, Chile. Countries is correct. That's a point for Meg. You're not dumb, you just don't know many things. And see, that's, and that's honestly, that's a common misconception people have as well, is just because, he's right. Just because you don't know a lot doesn't mean you're dumb. Most people who are just out of school, they don't know very much about the world. They lack a lot of experience in a lot of areas. That doesn't mean they're dumb. They're just, they just don't have a lot of experience in those areas. That's okay. That's why you go in those areas. There's more you live about life. The more experiences you have, the more knowledge you have, little tidbits here and there, and, you keep going. So, moving on to another round of Tribond, where the first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Yeah, also, this has been a fun game show about learning. I've learned so much from this game show. It's really been fun, and I've had a lot of laughs. First person to tell me what black, sink, and pot have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Black, sink, pot. Hole is correct. That's a point for Javier. Hard is okay. If you're not doing something that is hard, you're not pushing yourself. If every time you do something and it's easy, you're not going to learn too much from it. By the time something's easy, you're already pretty good at it. So if something's hard for you, you are exactly where you need to be. Because if something's hard for you, then you're where you are. You're where you need to be to push yourself to grow. So hard is good. See, just for fun fishing said hard is good for you. Trust me, being in an environment that is hard for you is how you grow. If everything's easy, you don't learn anything, you don't grow, you don't become a better person. Continuing on to another round of Tribon. Tribon is where I read three things. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common get a point on the scoreboard. Graph paper, movie theaters, actors. Lines was correct. You're spitting fire, my man. Thank you. I read a lot of self-help books and psychology books and stuff. That is a point for Dovid for saying lines. Continuing on to another round of Tribon. Thanks. Bronny, I'm glad you're okay. I just realized what's going on. Bronny, I'm glad you're okay. Oh, man. Was it your daughter? Was it the game show? Was it both? Oh, man. Oof. I'm glad you're okay. Moving on to another round of Tribon, where every three things, the first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Shoes, twins, earrings. Hey, Wyatt, welcome back. Hope your friend's little brother is okay. Pairs is correct. They come in twos. That is point four. Just for fun fishing. Just for fun fishing, you're at 2 points. Wyatt, hopefully you can come in and relax for the last 14 minutes of the show and get your mind off of the... It's okay. Typos are accepted. Typos are accepted for every game except for password. Moving on to another round of Tribon, where I will read three things, and the first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have barber, swivel, easy. Huh? Barber, swivel, easy. Chair would be correct. That is a point for Bronny. What is an easy chair? Chair, easy chair? I don't... That one threw me off. Bronny gets the point for chair. You're at 24. Cheating again for your profession. It works, though. It works. Okay. Moving on to another round of Tribon, where I read three things. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Drug, hardware, grocery. I thought it was called a high chair for kids. Easy chair. I'm going to Google it real quick. Stores. Correct. There are types of stores. Welcome back, Just for Fun Fishing. Mom Meg, you get the point. You are at 9. You are at 9. What is an easy chair? Oh, it's like a software. It's a web-based conference management software system. Wow. Okay. Wow. That was the top answer. I'm sure there's more, though. A padded chair. Easy chair is a large armchair. See, that makes more sense than the software company I read as the top option. That makes way more. I mean, I guess they're both right. All right, continuing on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have hearts, moons, clovers. Ooh, I hope this isn't U.S. specific. We have hearts, moons, clovers. I should have read the answers first. I feel so bad. I'm just going to... Aha, they're marshmallows. They are marshmallow pieces and Lucky Charms cereal. Sorry if that's U.S. specific. I didn't read the answer first. That is a point for Javier. Yep. Marshmallow pieces and Lucky Charms cereal is what it said. Sorry about that. Trying not to do U.S. specific. All right, we're going to move on to another round of Tribon. Moon cards. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me, I do apologize for that, Richard. I do apologize. I do try really hard not to do U.S. specific ones, but I had read the three before I read the answer. So that's why you guys will see me flipping the card a lot, because I want to make sure that it's not U.S. specific. Felt like a commercial for Lucky Charms. Moving on to another round of Tribon. First person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have Honey, Queen, Bumble. Bees are correct. That is a point for Bronny. Yes, guys, we're going to do a quick interruption. I want to let you guys know that this show is sponsored by... Moving on to another round of Tribon. Tribon is where I give you guys 3 things. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have an elephant, a walrus, and a wild boar. Yeah, you mic it off here. Yeah, that's fair. Tusk is correct. Tusk is correct. I see that you said husk. That's close enough to tusk. You will get the point just for fun fishing. You're at 3. What do we got? We got about 8.5 minutes before the winner is announced. Moving on to another round of Tribon. Tribon is where I give you guys 3 things. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. All right, we have French, Danish, and Latin. You're welcome. Yeah, typos are okay on all of them except for password. We have French, Danish, and Latin. Language would be correct. Language would be correct. That is point 4, just for fun fishing. Moving on to another round of, I'm not going to lie, Richard, you made me laugh at the toast. Because I'm like, yeah, French toast makes sense. And like, Danish is kind of close to that. And then I was thinking Latin toast, and I'm like, yeah, cheese Danishes. That's why it made sense to my Latin toast. It made me kind of chuckle, though. You're all warmed up now. Yeah, I was thinking pastries on that. I went from French toast to pastries, too. Moving on to another round of Tribond. Tribon is where I give you guys 3 things. The first person to tell me what they have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Yeah, some of the times you guys give me answers that are like pretty funny, and so I really enjoy hosting this. It's very enjoyable. It went too quick. Yeah, it's very enjoyable to see the answers. First person to tell me what is this? Okay, first person to tell me what Olive, Kelly, and Emerald have in common. Olive, Kelly, and Emerald. Green would be correct. That's a point for just for fun fishing. You're at 5 points. I'm going to read the scores real quick because we have about 7 minutes left. Amongst the champions, Javier, you have too many points to count. Richard Green, you have 8. Bronny, you have 25. Baronator, you have 3. Meg, you have 9. Just for fun fishing, you have 5. Javier, you do have 37. Amongst everybody else competing, we have Gray Basketball has 2. David has 8. James has 6. And Pucky Rahu has 1. Continuing on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Official Beekeeper, hope to see you back another time. First person to tell me what? The first person to tell me what femur, humerus, and skull have in common. Richard Green does have 13, not 8. My apologies. Bones is correct. Richard Green, you do have 13, not 8. That is very correct. All right, I'm going to give that one to Bronny, JB1. If I take out the J and add the B and the 1, yeah, then I get Bone. So, Bronny, you're going to... Bronny, right there. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have a sewing kit, a bowling alley, a wrestling star? Oh, okay. Pin would be correct. That is a point for Bronny. Moving on to another game. We got about 5 minutes left. We are going to play Taboo. Taboo is very similar to Password for anybody new. So how Taboo works is you guys have to guess this word. You guys have to guess this word based off of the clues and the hints that I give. A lot of people think that this type of animal is not real. However, apparently there is a type of animal that is named after this. Santa uses these to pull his sleigh. Reindeer would be correct. Reindeer would be correct. I'm going to give the point to Bronny for rain. See, yeah, Santa's dragons, guys. That was funny. Unicorn, Santa's dragons, Santa's unicorns. Oh my god, that was funny. Ronnie, you're getting the point. I love how you guys answer before I even. I mean, I just keep going with the hints and stuff, but it was reindeer, Santa's dragons. Santa got goth that year. All right, moving on to another round of Taboo. The first person to correctly guess this one word will get a point on the scoreboard. This is a profession where they give haircuts and they shave people. There used to be a pole outside, like a weird candy cane spinning looking thing. They often work on the head. That is Santa with dragons. Yes, Wyatt, I can check. Barber was first on for Bronny. Where are you, Bronny? It's another time your thing is coming in handy. I do have to pause the time with my... Here we go. Because we're especially so close to the end, and we have a very close one going. So I will have to add this to the end. On my screen, it said I got it first. Sorry, can you check? That's not a problem. Wyatt, moving forward, can you please let me know which one you said first? You know it is reindeer for this one, but sometimes the games are going so fast that it's easier if you guys tell me which word you think you got first. Reindeer. All right. All right, we have the screen right here. Wyatt, here's where you said reindeer. Just for fun fishing said reindeer. And Bronny said rain. I did accept Bronny's typo, which is good because then you both had a typo as well. So that's good. Bronny did say it first. I'm going to scroll back up a little bit to make sure. Yep. Unicorns and dragons was not the answer. Sleigh thingies. Yeah, so many. Yep. Oh, we're going to see about another minute 15. All right, perfect. We're going to continue on to another round of Taboo. The first person to correctly guess this one word based off my clues and hints will get a point on the scoreboard. This word has many meanings. It could have a meaning in the stock market. It could have a meaning after the name James in a movie. Could be a type of savings. It could also mean two people are together. Bond would be correct. That's a point for Meg. Yeah, so how it works, Wyatt, is on your guys' screen, how the technology works is when you guys send it so close to each other on all of your guys' screens, it'll say that you guys got it first. And so we have to use some way to have break ties. So we use my screen. I can pull it up anytime you'd like, though. It's not a problem. Eventually, I would like to have it up here all the time, but I'm running into a lot of problems doing that so far. It will be figured out. Moving on. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. But I still make mistakes, and so especially like something where Blurt, if somebody answers like, yeah, especially Blurt, the mistakes happen the most because I get 2 points out. I appreciate the trust for the fluidity of the game, but I will also show my screen anytime somebody asks. Literally anytime. And I still do make the mistakes, so it's still worth asking. It is still worth asking. Moving on to another round of... man, I forgot what this game's called because I just got it. Taboo. The first person to correctly guess this word based off of my clues and hints will get a point on the scoreboard. You use this to rest your head on when you are sleeping. Otherwise, you'd get a cramped up neck. Pillow is correct. That is a point for just for fun fishing. Richard Green, that's a good point, too. If you watch the battleship, because I do read them top to bottom, you can tell how wonky the chat is. All right, moving on to another one. We're going to move on to another Taboo, the first person to tell me what this word is, we'll get a point on the scoreboard based on my clues and hints. This is a doctor that cleans your teeth. I don't know if they're technically considered a doctor. I would consider them one, but you go here to clean your teeth. Dentist. Cool. Dentist is correct. That is a point for Wyatt. Wyatt, welcome to the scoreboard. You got it. Let's go. Wyatt, I do believe you're already on the Hall of Fame. Moving on, we've got about 45 seconds. We're going to play another one. The first person to tell me what this word is, we'll get a point on the scoreboard. This is, you can take dough and make it into a really funky shape. Give it a bath in baking soda to give it the nice weird flavor. It is a dough that you can make them in hard, you can make them in soft. They come in hard, they come in soft. It almost looks like when your legs are crossed. Welcome, Traveling Patty. It almost looks like when your legs are crossed. It's you could dip them in cheese. A lot of people like to dip them in cheese. Pretzel would be correct. First person on my screen who said pretzel would be Meg. We have time for one more. We're going to do one more. We're going to play in one more round of Taboo. The first person to correctly guess what this is will get a point on the scoreboard. I use these props all the time on this show. I start the show with it. I continue the break with it. I make a lot of different animals using this. First person to balloon would be correct. That is a point for Brawny. All right, that is the time. So I'm going to go ahead and announce the winners. I got to get my technology ready for this time. Amongst the champions, Javier, you have 37 points. Richard Green, you have 13 points. Brawny, you have 30 points. Baronator, you have 3. Meg, you have 11. Just for Fun Fishing, you have 6. Amongst everybody else competing to enter the Hall of Champions, we have Pocky Rahu has 1. Wyatt, you have 1 right there at the end. We have Gray Basketball has 2. James M with a close second has 6. And coming in first place with 8 points, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce the new champion, Dovid. Dovid, you'll be entered into the Hall of Champions. Congratulations, Dovid. Coming in first place with 8 points would be Dovid. Dovid, you will see your name in the Hall of Champions. Finally, I noticed you have come for many, many streams. You've been fighting for it, and you got it. James M., I do expect you will be entering that Hall of Champions. I do expect you to be entering. You guys, I've seen you guys fight for it so many times. Dovid, congratulations. You did earn it. This was fun. Awesome. I'm glad you think so. Wyatt, good job getting that board right before the end. All right, guys, I have 2 streams tomorrow, and I am not streaming again until Monday at the latest. I will get back on. I might be able to Sunday. I don't think so. That is a very big play up by ear. I'm not making any commitments to Sunday because I'll be getting back into town from a long drive. So, but Wyatt, good job on that point right before. Wyatt, just so you know, you're 121 in the Hall of Fame. And I know he's not here. Gray Basketball is now the 135th person to enter the Hall of Fame. And David, you are the 32nd person to enter the Hall of Champions. And we today, for the very first time, have the third person who has been in all three halls. Brawny, I appreciate it. Brawny is on the Hall of Fame, Hall of Champions, and the Hall of Support for purchasing my book. I really appreciate that. Catch me on Monday. Also have a long weekend. Awesome. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I appreciate the support with that as well. Hope you enjoy the book. I'm so glad you guys liked the show. Thank you, Jen, for hosting another wonderful show. You're welcome, Meg. Richard Green, it's been a pleasure as always. Enjoy the show once again. Awesome. Be buying a deck of cards. Some of the games do use 2 decks of cards, but one is plenty to get you started. That was a good game. That was fun. Guys, that was very fun. I'll be back Monday at the latest. Well, I will be back tomorrow as well, but after tomorrow. Yeah, 2 decks would be great. Yes, there's quite a few in there that have 2 decks. Awesome. In fact, let me just check real quick because I'm curious. $19 out of the 52 games require 2 decks of cards. 19 out of the 52, so that's almost half. Almost half, not quite half. A little bit under half. About 40%. 38%. Yeah, about 40. All right, guys, that was awesome. I'll be doing 2 shows tomorrow around the same time, roughly around the same time. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. I gotta get ready for a lot of things, a lot of life events coming up. David, your son finally slept through the stream, so you're able to stick around. Awesome. Yes, Brawny, for now, this is only a 1-player game. This book is only solitaire games. It's only 1-player games. I plan on writing many more books. Just in this one, I have the next 14 to 20 books I know I'm going to write for as related to card games alone. And then, I'm going to be moving into other areas such as dice games and drinking games and other books or other types of games. But I have about 15 books I want to write in the category of card games because of how popular card games are. But then I also have other books that I write in other categories of life as well. Like I won't be writing another card game book for probably 4 books from now, I think. I've got a lot of books that I want to write, and not solo drinking games. That's just no, like party drinking games and stuff. That one I'm undetermined if I'm going to write, and if I do, it's way out here. The next book that I write for card games it's not going to be until at least 4 books from now because I have the next at least 3 books that I want to write planned out. I don't know the exact order I want to write them in. They've all been started, but I have at least the next 3 books that are pretty important for me to want to write, ready to be progressed. So I won't be writing another game book for a while. So probably not until next year will one come out. Those take more work than any other book that I do, by the way. Those do. Yeah, so I was glad that it was my first because it humbled me on how many books I can actually get written. So I've got a lot of plans. I've got a lot of plans for writing. Writing is one of my favorite things to do. But I do think you guys will enjoy it, and I do put a lot of work into it. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. Richard. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream there. It is 11:10 for me, and I've got to get up early in a couple days to drive pretty far. I will be back tomorrow for 2 streams, and then I won't be back again until Monday. Thank you guys so much for another awesome game night.